Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys a brand new 2021 album review. And as you can see by the title, today we're going to be talking about the new album from the band Evile entitled Hell Unleashed, which was released today under Napalm Records. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Evile, they're a thrash metal band from the UK and they formed in 2004. And I discovered Evile probably around 2008 or 9, I believe. It was right around the time after they released their debut album, Enter the Grave, in 2007, and their second album, Infected Nations, in 2009. And that was sort of my roughly introduction from the band. And they pretty much had two other albums, Five Serpent's Teeth in 2011, and their last album, Skull, in 2013. And little do we know that Skull in 2013 would be the last thing we would hear from them for nearly 8 years. And this is their first album in 8 years, and they've had a little bit of lineup change. In fact, like their only original member that's been with the band from the start was Ben Carter, their drummer. And they only had, of course, they formed with also the Drake brothers, being Matt Drake, who was their lead vocalist and guitarist, and Ole, who also is their lead guitarist. But it was also announced, like Ole briefly left the band in 2013, but then he rejoined in 2018. But it wasn't announced until August of last year that Matt Drake had left the band. From what I heard, was because of like family issues and health reasons. So, and I was wondering who would be front the band. But apparently it was Ole actually is now stepping up as their lead vocalist, and then they got a new guitar player, Adam Smith. Now, this question is, with this album, does it live up with Hell Unleashed, the band's fifth album and first in 8 years? Does it live up or exceed expectations to what Skull has? In my honest opinion, I think it's a step up, and it's a little bit of a different direction, a different approach compared to some of Evile's previous works. Well, just like from the vocals, I mean, Ole's vocals are different from Matt's in a way. I feel like Ole's is more gruffier, and he also has a lot more of a death metal approach to it. Like some of these songs have a death approach while it's retaining a thrash element, which is totally different. And I think it's pretty much suits the band well. And I feel like Ole's and Adam's guitar playing is really great. Just like the riffs and just the soloing on this album is just mind blowing. The bass is pretty audible. Joe Graham's bass playing is definitely heard well in the mix, and the drumming from Ben Carter is just really up there. Just always just, it's just hard to explain it. Like, he's just a really great drummer. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is the song Paralyzed, which right from the get-go, it pulls no punches from the second the first riff kicks in, and the riffs are just straightforward, and yet it's just so relentlessly thrashing. Get your head banging, and then there's like a mid-section which kind of brings the tempo down a bit and bring a little bit of like technicality before you're ramping things up again right before the solo. And I think it's a great way to kick off this album, start it off with a bang. And then we move on to Gore. Now, this song has a guest appearance from comedian Brian Posehn, who is also a metalhead. And I swear, his voice with Ole's voice almost kind of sounds a little similar. It almost kind of feels like you can never tell who's who. And this song kind of like starts off kind of like slow and moody before just an insane blistering thrash. And then Ole's vocal style is more, like I said, gruffy compared to Matt, and it's adding like that little death metal edge that the songs are giving so far. Like apart from like the song titles, it's just a great song. Incarcerated's up next, and this song has some really great clean guitar, her intro, and then some eerie kind of like whispered vocals, and then the riffs just build and has like a crunching stop before unleashing some really just head banging, and then there's like a little bit of like different tempo changes and just some shredding solos coming in, which gives way to like I don't know, just a great song. War of Attrition is the next song. It has like a relentless blast of thrash metal, and I love like the transition from chugging riffs to stomping middle is just really great, and just some fast drum rolls from Ben is insane. Next song on the album is called Disorder. Now, this song brings sort of like more the technical and sort of like melodic feels mixed in with some simple chord riffs and some cool harmonies. It's like a nice shift from like the pounding high thrash that we've heard from the last few songs. Next up is The Thing from 1982. Now, this song is, of course, like a tribute to the sci-fi horror of the same name, which opens up with some speedy riffing, and then it just bursts into like some like a death thrash mix. And there's like more harmonized moments in there, and especially the solos from Drake, and is fucking amazing. And then next up is Zombie Apocalypse. Now this is of course is a cover song originally done by old school death metal band Mortician, and it sounds fucking sick. And I really love like their spin on this song. And then we move on to Control from Above, which starts off with a really cool bass intro from Joel Graham. And this song kind of reminds me of something from like new wave of British heavy metal, kind of like old school Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, which then leads into some straightforward thrash riffing, and then the middle brings sort of like a great kind of like swing feel with standing amongst like the fast riffs. And it's just a song that's just hard to not to bang your head to. And then there's that first solo is nice and slow and melodic, and then it just ends with just a burst of death thrash. And then we close things off with the title track of the album, and also the first single from this. And it's just a great way to end this album. Just a final raging number with just plenty of fucking fast riffs. Now overall, Hell Unleashed by Evile is a great album, a great comeback album after 8 years of not having any new music. So if I were to give this album a score, I'm going to give Hell Unleashed by Evile a solid 9 out of 10. So that's my review of the new album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the album, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.